From your Revere TV studio on Broadway, it's the Revere Review.
Welcome to another edition of the Revere Review. I'm Debbie Pesca.
And I'm Ed DeVoe. On a beautiful day, with the largest crowd ever, the city of Revere came together to honor and remember its native sons who paid the ultimate price for the freedoms we all enjoy. As the bell tolled, veterans one by one came to the podium to read aloud the list of Revere residents who served and died in combat during conflicts that ranged from the colonial wars in the 16 and 1700s to the current conflicts in the Middle East. One by one, city dignitaries and invited guests also reminded us what Memorial Day was all about, and that we should all take the time out to remember those who have died. Mayor Rizzo, in his remarks, said that we need to teach our young people and those who are new to the city that this is not just a day about beaches and picnics and auto races. He went on to also recognize the families of those killed in action, saying that for many families who have lost someone, the empty seat at the dinner table, the smaller family gatherings, and the distant memories of the voice of a loved one long gone are memories they live with every day. Adding to the ceremony were performances of choral offerings from the Wayland School and a trio from Revere High who gave a stirring rendition of Proud to be an American. City Council Vice President Jessica Giannino also performed, singing the national anthem at the start of the program. Kudos go out to Nick Bua, members of the Revere's veterans community, and the mayor, and all of those responsible for this fitting tribute. It was a great day.
In another show of tribute, honor, and respect for those that have fallen in combat, the Revere veterans community have banded together to bring the Wall That Heals to the Beachmont VFW from June 13th through June 16th. The Wall That Heals is a half-scale replica of the Vietnam War Memorial created by the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund to travel to communities throughout the United States. Since its dedication in 1996, the Wall That Heals has visited more than 350 cities and towns throughout the nation. 6 of Revere's residents, Robert Blaze, James DeLuca, Arthur LeGros Jr., Alan O'Brien Jr., Walter Olinsky Jr., and Stephen Penta, gave their lives during the Vietnam War and are represented on that wall. For those of you who have not been able to visit the wall in Washington, D.C., now is the time to pay your respect for all those who paid the ultimate price during that war. Please come and support the Vietnam veterans, and above all, to give them the honor and respect they so greatly deserve.
Amen. And yet another indication that the city of Revere is on the move. Real estate professionals in the city are reporting that the Revere housing market is on the upswing for those who are selling their homes. This comes after years of an economic climate that saw double-digit declines in property values and a glut of foreclosed and abandoned properties. At one time, Revere had become the poster child for everything that was wrong with the once booming greater Boston housing market. Laura D'Amico, a Revere realtor, recently stated that our housing market is really attractive right now. We're seeing multiple offers on all properties, both single families and multifamilies. I just had an open house for a property, she said, on Winthrop Parkway last weekend and got an offer before the open house even started. We're looking at potentially selling a house in one day and at prices as high as $500,000. We're really seeing a lot of fabulous activity, and I'm extremely excited. She went on to say that Revere's market has become popular to all types of people in all stages of life, whether immigrants from young families or empty nesters who grew up in Revere, moved away, and now are coming back. One of the big reasons that the city is on the rebound is the positive message that has been trumpeted to those outside the city by the new administration. Specifically, events such as last year's Economic Development Summit have drawn bigger developers to the area, which in turn drives individual interest in local real estate as the perception of Revere as a diamond in the rough gains momentum. Revere Economic Development Director John Festa said that the city's efforts to invest on Broadway and to spread the message to out-of-town developers about specific properties ripe for development has generated a lot of talk about Revere. I think it's a combination of things happening, he said. We're prepared to spend $2 million to revitalize the infrastructure on Broadway, and there are a lot of developers who are looking to change Revere Beach. Between Broadway, the gaming facility that might be coming, the Revere Beach development, and now a positive real estate market, I really believe Revere is on the radar screen for development. In the next 10 years, Revere is going to change in such a positive way that there will be a major transition.
And another reason not to sell, The eyesore that was once the old Reardon's Pub on the corner of Broadway and Beach Street may finally be gone. The City Council seems very happy about the idea of a new senior affordable housing unit to be built on that site. At the council meeting, the neighborhood developers were looking for a zoning change to build a 5-story building with 48 apartments for seniors on that lot. The neighborhood developers' mission is to build vibrant and diverse neighborhoods with homes that are affordable to families of mixed incomes, where people choose to invest in the social fabric, economic opportunities, and built environment. Residents in the area seem to be in favor of it. Councilor Penta said, "I've talked to several neighbors in the area and every one of them was for it." However, Councilor Stephen Reardon urged the fact that this housing will only be available for seniors should be discussed at length in subcommittee for the public's education. I think there is some worry among residents that something will happen and it won't be for seniors anymore. More senior housing in the city would make me very happy, he added.
Amen. Mayor Dan Rizzo recently indicated that he's going all in with the Suffolk Downs Caesars Casino proposal. The City of Revere would be eligible to negotiate a surrounding communities contract with the Wynn Resort Group, who are proposing a casino in Everett, and would receive some compensation should Wynn's Everett Casino beat out the Suffolk, Caesars, and Milford proposals. However, the mayor has said that if he is approached, that he will not negotiate with Wynn. He went on to further state that Suffolk Downs has been part of our community for 77 years. As far as we're concerned, they are a big part of our city and deserve our complete loyalty and support as they continue their process to secure a license. He went on to say, "I'm confident based on the merits and attributes of the proposal that Suffolk Downs will be successful." And apparently he's not alone. Chelsea City Manager Jay Ash recently reported that he has been approached by Wynn Resorts regarding their project and the city's status as the surrounding community. Ash has said he has already forged a much better relationship with Suffolk and has virtually no relationship with Wynn. And furthermore, at a recent Everett community meeting, Steve Wynn said that Boston Mayor Tom Menino should butt out of the process in Everett. Menino has been an ardent supporter of the Suffolk Downs proposal along with Rizzo and has made disparaging comments in the past about Wynn's ability to complete its project. In a related story, the Boston Globe recently reported that 2 members of the Everett Board of Aldermen, who are also running against Mayor Carlo Di Maria, are questioning the impact of the community host agreement Di Maria negotiated with Wynn Resorts. One of the provisions criticized would have Wynn Resorts spending $50,000 annually on gift certificates to casino patrons to be used in Everett businesses. They called that provision a slap in the face. They also indicated that the mitigation contract was primarily written by a Boston law firm that also represents the Wynn Resorts, and that the deal was rushed. Everett residents are set to vote on the Wynn proposal in June. Revere and East Boston residents are still waiting to see what their mitigation packages will look like and when they will vote.
It seems that the Obama administration and Congress are in agreement, finally, on a new measure that would limit the time a person could hold a Section 8 certificate or live in a public housing unit. The new policy seems to be well received in the Capitol, and the only debate is how far to take it. Public housing officials across the country seem to agree that residents suffer from a feeling of entitlement that leads to generations of family members living in public housing. Local officials at the Revere Housing Authority, the RHA, say that they acknowledge the frustrating problem of long-term residents in what is supposed to be short-term transitional housing. The debate would be for the new policy to limit residents to 5 years with a Section 8 voucher and 5 years in a public housing unit. After that, they would have to transition into public housing. The elderly and disabled would be exempt. Local officials at the RHA said they are paying close attention to the debate, but are not sure time limits would work here. RHA Board Chairman George Anzoni said that he tries to remind residents that public housing is not long-term. He said it's important people realize this is transitional housing. We don't want to push people out, but we do have to have people understand that this is transitional housing and not a permanent residence. In Revere, when this housing was put up, it was for veterans to get a hand up until they could do better, said RHA Executive Director Linda Shaw. That isn't what's happening now in all cases. We have a lot of people out there floundering through. Shaw did say social problems are some of the greatest contributors to the generational living aspect of public housing. She said if time limits were passed, it would result in a lot of backlash. I don't think the plan will work. We would have people picketing, she said. It's just a tough nut to crack. It's like welfare. There are people who abuse the system, and that's what makes it bad. There are also a lot of people who do not abuse it. In fact, most abide by the rules, and some have even used RHA program to move on to better jobs and to home ownership. Through the RHA's self-sufficiency program, one person has been able to save money to go on to law school, while another was able to save money for a down payment on a home. However, we only have 34 people out of 899 participating, and that's just 3%, said Shaw. We need to step that game up a little more in terms of participation and funding for that program. And Zoni concluded by saying there may be more problems coming from any solution.
Yeah, it's always an interesting problem. You know, it's a fine balance to establish between assistance and enabling, if you will.
It is.
And in other news, discussions were continued this week regarding the pay raises for 3 City Hall employees. Mayor Dan Rizzo submitted a late communication 2 weeks ago calling for an ordinance change that would give raises to 4 employees who he believed were not part of a union. This week, one of the employees has been removed from that list as he is part of a union. 2 of those raises amounted to increases more than $20,000 a year, and one was for nearly $40,000 a year. Mayor Rizzo this week said, "I'm here in the interest of treating our employees fairly, those that are not represented under collective bargaining agreements." He went on to say that these are also people who have not received an increase for years. Councilor at Large Robert Hass said that the matter could have been brought up with the budget. Many of the councilors, though, kept their opinions to themselves as Revere Council President Ira Novoselsky reminded councilors that the matter would be discussed further in a subcommittee meeting. However, residents voiced their concerns. Revere resident Al Terminello and candidate for city councilor also said, "I understand they took these jobs. They were not under collective bargaining agreement. That's not anyone's concern, especially the taxpayers of Revere." He did add that he believes that the 3 employees deserve raises, but not as much as being proposed. The proposed raises are City Solicitor Paul Capizzi, who would go from $70,000 to $82,000 a year, City Clerk Ashley Melnick, who would go from $74,000 to $98,000 a year, and Director of Finance George Anzoni, who would go from $113,000 to $150,000 a year. According to Al Terminello, in the private sector, you get a 2 to 4% increase, if you get that. The private sector, he also said, tells you if you don't like it, you can leave. Rizzo says, however, these raises are fair in comparison to what their counterparts in other communities make.
In our city election update, Councilor-at-Large challengers George Rotundo and Stephen Morabito and Walter Colville III have entered the race. John Correggio has already turned in his papers in proper order and is certified for the ballot. Jessica Giannino, Bob Haas, Brian Arrigo, and Tony Zimbudo have all taken out their papers. 3 candidates have taken out their papers in Ward 5, incumbent John Powers and challengers Al Terminello Jr. and Billy Bell. In the school committee race, all incumbents are expected to seek re-election, but so far, Donna Wood Pruitt, Michael Ferranti, and Fred Zanella have pulled papers. Newcomers Susan Gravelisi, Patrick Keefe, and Juan Jaramello, and Rick Frenny have also pulled papers. In Ward 1, Councilor Richard Penta has also taken out papers and will have 2 challengers, Greg Lysedra, who has run against Penta in the past, and Leah Singer, daughter of a previous Ward 1 councilor, Rita Singer. In Ward 2, Councilor President Ira Novoselsky took out papers. In Ward 3, Councilor Arthur Guinasso took out papers. Ward 4, Councilor Steve Reardon took out papers. And in Ward 6, Charlie Patch took out papers.
And in other news, Revere will be celebrating Columbus Day in grand style this year with the return of the Columbus Day Parade on Monday, October 14th. After a long absence, Revere residents will once again be able to experience and enjoy the wonderful spectacle of marching bands and floats as they make their way down Broadway. Last year, in a great show of cooperation and solidarity, organizers of the East Boston Columbus Day Parade agreed to an arrangement that would have Revere host the parade on one year and East Boston host it in the next. Paul Travellini of East Boston and Nick Bua from Revere were then installed as co-chairs for the event, and plans began to take hold for the 2013 parade in Revere. To kick things off, a fundraiser breakfast was held at the Beachmont VFW last Columbus Day. The event sold out quickly and was attended by many city and state dignitaries. Recently, parade organizers announced that they will be holding a pasta dinner fundraiser on Thursday, June 20th at the Beachmont VFW. If last year's breakfast was any indication, this event should be a huge success and the organizers should sell out quickly. To purchase tickets or to make a contribution to the parade, please contact Nick Bua at 781-286-8119.
Once again, Revere wins more accolades where it counts. Recently, the National League of Cities announced that the City of Revere and the Revere Public Schools are #1 in Massachusetts and 3rd nationally in addressing childhood obesity through the Let's Move Cities, Towns, and Counties program. The program is a major component of First Lady Michelle Obama's comprehensive Let's Move initiative, which is dedicated to solving the childhood obesity epidemic within a generation. 5 medals were awarded to Revere for action taken to improve access to healthy, affordable food and increase opportunities for physical activity. These medals were awarded for Revere's achievements in educating students about eating well, providing healthy school breakfasts and lunches, and expanding opportunities for active play. Revere's success would not have been possible without the joint collaboration between city and school officials, along with Revere Cares, MGH Revere Health Center, and Revere on the Move. Offering the best nutrition possible to our students is one of my main priorities, knowing how closely linked health and academic achievement are, commented Revere Public Schools Superintendent Paul Dakin. Our food service works hard to meet strict nutrition guidelines and student population preferences. By participating with those working on community-wide strategies, we hope our efforts will also support healthy changes at home. In addition to partnering with the schools on serving healthy food to students, the City of Revere and the Revere Cares Coalition have partnered on a number of community-wide initiatives, including the city's first urban trail, with the second being launched this summer. A citywide walk-to-school program, Adopt a Park, where young people beautify their neighborhood parks, the Revere Beach Farmers Market that accepts SNAP and WIC, the city's first community garden, a healthy corner store initiative, a healthy dining initiative, the citywide fitness challenge, and an initiative mini-grant program supporting policy systems and environmental changes in schools and neighborhoods across Revere. Their awards are yet another example of the positive work being accomplished on a daily basis by city and school officials and dedicated community volunteers to improve the quality of life of all of our residents, commented Mayor Dan Rizzo. Congratulations once again to the City of Revere, Revere School Department, and to Revere Cares. You all continue to do us proud.
Amen. Well, we're now in the home stretch of the 2013 Fitness Challenge, which ends this coming Saturday. I recently had a conversation with Sean Mallett of Millions of Muscles, and we're going to show you that interview. Well, here we are. It's been 6 weeks since the start of the Revere Fitness Challenge. We are entering into the final stretch now, the final week of the Fitness Challenge, which ends on Saturday, June 8th. And back with us in the studio are our old friends from Millions of Muscles and Sean Mallett. Sean, welcome once again.
How's it going,
Appreciate
Ed?
it.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. So tell us about what's coming up this final week. Starting with, I think you have the final weigh-in. I think takes place.
Yes. Yep. So this week is the last week of the challenge. So we're going to have we have the final weigh-in. So anyone who did the weigh-ins at the beginning of the challenge can come back to the rec center. We encourage everyone to come back to the rec center who weighed in. We really would love to see what the final numbers are going to be. That'll be on Thursday, June 6th. That's going to be from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Revere Rec Center, 150 Beach Street. And then also we're going to have the last day to weigh in will be on Friday night from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Revere Rec Center.
Okay. And in addition to that, I mean, the normal activities that have been going on this whole 6-week period are going to be taking place during this final week as well.
Yep, final week. So the last night will be Friday night. We'll be at the Revere Karate Academy.
Yeah, so if you haven't gone to the kickboxing or Zumba and you've been wanting to do it, you still have a chance to get out there and get it done, yeah?
Oh, 100%. We'd love we'd love for new people to come in and try everything out.
Yeah. Now, coming up on Saturday is the finale, if you will, the final event, and
Yes.
a huge part of that finale is the road race.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we have the Revere Runs 5K. That'll be starting right at 9 a.m. sharp. That is going to be a run or a walk. We really want to encourage, the fact that you don't have to be, a marathon runner to participate. It's all for all fitness levels. We want everyone to get out there and run or walk.
Yeah, and to register for that, I think you can register online. I think you said up until Wednesday, June 5th.
Correct.
You can register at the weigh-ins.
Yeah, so actually on Friday night will be pre-registration at the rec center. That'll be from 4 to 7 p.m. for the race registration, pre-registration. So you get your bibs, your T-shirt, but you actually, if you haven't signed up yet and you're still thinking about it, come down to the rec center on Friday night and sign up. And we'd love to have you down there, and you can definitely sign up there.
Now, in addition to the race, there are going to be other events going on Saturday morning. Talk about those a little bit.
Yes, so on Saturday, the race will start at 9 a.m. And then at 9:30 a.m., we're going to start with our health and business fair, which is going to be great. We have a lot of great businesses from Revere. We're also going to have a lot of kids' activities. We really want the kids to come down, have the whole community down there. It's not just for the runners. It's for, we're also celebrating the finale of the Citywide Challenge. Obviously, we're going to have our winners. We're going to have 3 winners for the Citywide Challenge. They'll be announced the day of the race. So come on down and support the community.
Yeah, and even though you haven't participated in the fitness exercises during this 6-week period, come down, cheer on the runners and the racers as they do the 5K road race. I know I'm going to be one of the people. I will start out running. I don't know if I'll finish running, but I'm going to start out running.
It's about doing the best you can. And, if you walk it the whole way, that's fine. Maybe, if you run and walk, that's totally fine as well. Also, one more thing I want to mention is the day of the race, you can register from 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning, day of the race, for $20. You just have, so we can, even if you wake up that morning, you decide you want to run, you still can do it.
Well, it's the culmination to an unbelievable event, though. The 6 weeks, I'm sure there are a lot more healthier and fitter people in the city of Revere now as a result of this challenge. I look forward to it next year, to the finale and to next year. Thank you once again, Sean. It's been great.
Thank you for having us.
All right, for Revere TV and Millions of Muscles and the Revere Fitness Challenge, I'm Ed DeVoe, and thank you.
Welcome back. And closing out this week's Revere in Review, we have great news about the Revere High School Boys Lacrosse program. In its first year as a varsity sport at Revere High School, they ended the season with a surprising 9-win, 8-loss record, good enough to advance them to the playoffs. Even though they lost in the first round to Billerica, which is ranked 22 in the state, we want to congratulate the team, Coach Michael Guanci and his staff on a momentous accomplishment.
That is incredible. And when you think, it's the first year of the program at the high school and they make the playoffs. That is an unbelievable accomplishment.
Some of these guys have not touched a lacrosse stick till this year, and they, it's a varsity sport, and hopefully this will be an upcoming sport in this city.
It's like soccer, in many schools. Soccer's been gaining momentum and popularity, and it seems lacrosse is doing the same as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing some more
congratulations, guys. Great
Amen.
job.
Well, that does it for us this week.
Take
care.